All right, what's up, everybody? I'm back with Dwayne from the Franklin range, and today we're going to talk about the steps. A lot of people have issues with carrying a loaded gun on them, especially a loaded gun pointed at your junk. So we're going to talk about the logical steps that we went through in order to get to that space where we felt comfortable carrying a gun pointed at our junk. So
At our junk.
yeah. Yeah.
All right. So a little bit about me. I don't have law enforcement background or military background. I'm a civilian that came to this industry for self-defense purposes. So the process that I went through, I'm thinking other people out there just like me, civilians that are thinking about carrying a firearm, may have these exact questions, and they need to be answered before you can carry a firearm on your body. And we know the 4 general firearm safety rules. We know the second one is the most important. That one is that we never point at anything we are not willing to destroy. If you carry a firearm on your body, at some point you're going to be pointing at something that you don't want to destroy. So it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's very important that these questions are answered, and in order to do that and feel like you're doing it safely. So there were basically 3 questions that I had I needed the answers to. So the first one was actually, can the gun spontaneously go off without any interaction at all?
Yeah.
Now,
people legit think that.
That's going to sound crazy to the people in the industry.
Yeah.
But someone who didn't grow up with guns, never been around guns, may look at a gun and just say, oh my God, it may just go off, right? So that question had to be answered. Can the gun just go off by itself? So I can't wear it on myself if that could happen, right? So I'm not gonna get in the weeds about the safeties, but I carry a Glock, and it has 3 internal safeties. And so with those 3 internal safeties, the gun cannot just go off by itself. And so once I came to that, then I moved on to the next question. Okay, so if the gun cannot go off by itself, what makes the gun go off? What has to happen for the gun to go off? All right, so now we're at the next step, right? Can the gun go off if it drops? Can the gun go off if I slap it? Can the gun go off if I shake it? Can the gun go off if I fell on top of the gun? Can it go off? What is the interaction that has to happen with the gun to make the gun go off? All right. So now I'll talk a little bit about the 3 internal safeties. So there's the trigger safety, there's the firing pin safety or the plunger, and then there's the drop safety in the action section of the gun. All right, so without getting too much in the weeds, the trigger safety, the trigger has to be depressed to disable the other 2 safeties inside. And if the trigger is not pressed, the plunger doesn't go up. The firing pin safety keeps the striker from coming through, hitting the primer of the cartridge to set the bullet off. So in other words, the interaction that has to happen with the Glock is the trigger has to be pressed. So the bullet isn't coming out of the gun unless the trigger is pressed. Okay,
Right.
That's the interaction. Dropping it won't do it, falling on it won't do it, slapping it won't do it. The trigger has to be pressed.
Trigger's got to be pressed.
So now I know what has to happen to make the bullet come out. Now, the third question is there a way I can wear that gun on my body that keeps the trigger from being pressed?
That's
now,
good.
So if I've got the gun on my body and there's some way the trigger could be pressed and the bullet comes out, I can't wear it. I can't wear it if the trigger can be pressed while it's on my body. All right, so that gets us to the holster and your type of holster. All right, so I'm not a fan of belly bands, polyester holsters where you stick the gun in there. And a lot of people use those when you're, gym clothes and leotards and all that kind of stuff, because the trigger can actually be gotten to through the material. All right, so what holster did I decide to carry? It's right here. Be right back. All right. All right, so this is not a real gun. It's plastic. I call it my Big Bird yellow plastic, shaped like a Glock 17, but not really a gun. All right. So this here is a holster. It's a Kydex holster or a hard plastic holster. So if I put that gun and you listen to it click, all right, this is the retention screw. I can make this as tight as I need to make it so the gun cannot come out, you know, it's tight. Now, the trigger cannot be gotten to. So as long as this gun is in this holster, the trigger cannot be gotten to. So this gave me confidence to wear this on my body. So what I do in the morning, I put my gun in the holster, and then I put the holster on with my gun already in it. The trigger is covered. So here it is right here. This is the Glock that I carry. It's loaded. There's one in the chamber. And this is my appendix holster.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's how you get to it. So as long as the gun is in the holster, a bullet will not come out. Now, if I need it, you know, we're not taking it in and out all day.
Right.
Once it's in the holster, if I need it, I just took my safety off.
Right.
I just took my safety off.
Yeah.
And this is the quickest way to send around when you need it, rather than having to rack the slide or, heaven forbid, put a mag in and then rack the slide.
Yeah.
But
People think they'll have time.
People think they'll have time. But here's the thing. They think they will have time. But no one's going to yell at you from across the street and say, hey, over there.
I'm coming.
If you got a gun, start digging it out. I'm on my way over there to rob or murder you.
Uh-huh. Yep.
You're not going to have the time because they want the element of surprise on you. So they're going to be, so when you realize you need your gun, you are going to feel like you are already behind the curve.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And at that point in time, if I ever end up in that situation, all I want to be able to do is pow. That's the quickest.
Yep.
Pow.
Yep. 100%.
100%.
I have my holster on me too. And, you know, same thing, my gun's loaded. Something that you were saying when you're talking about, if it's dropped, will it go off?
Right.
Well, for me, when I was starting out, the Sig Sauer, the P365 doesn't have the trigger safety. It just has like an internal step system. You kind of got to watch a video to see how it is. You got to see the internals of it. But I dropped the gun on concrete and it was loaded. So I mentioned this in, what was that video called? Semi-auto handgun or something. It's like my third video or something. I talked about how when I dropped it on the concrete, I jumped back.
Right.
Because I thought it was about to go off.
Right.
But then when it didn't go off,
right.
I was like, oh, this thing's never going off.
Right. Right. You're back.
Whatever.
You're back.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you talked about those steps, those logical steps that you came to like think about, oh, it's not going to go off. So now I feel comfortable carrying it.
Right.
Then you talked about pulling it out, and this is the quickest method of going bang.
Yes. One in the chamber is the quickest method
chamber.
of bang. Yeah. Right.
So did this section, the appendix area, was that also a logical thought process of I'm going to also carry here because I think it might be quicker than back here or on the side or something like
awesome,
that?
Awesome. Okay. Yes. So once I decided it was safe to carry on body, then the next question is where?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
And I tried several places. I tried 3 o'clock, I tried 3:30, 4 o'clock, I tried appendix. It ultimately came down to this. I asked myself a question, Dwayne, why are you carrying a gun? I mean, why are you carrying it?
Yeah.
That's
a legit question.
Why do you have it on your body?
Yep.
I'm carrying it to protect myself, my family, in case we're met with a deadly force. All right?
Yeah.
So then if that's the reason why I'm carrying it, shouldn't I carry it in a place where I can get it out the quickest?
Okay. Yep.
If I'm carrying it to protect my family,
Yep.
why would I want to carry it in a place that it takes me 10 minutes to get it out?
Exactly.
All right, so someone that we know said, if you're faced with deadly force, how long do you have to solve the problem?
Okay.
How long do you have to solve the problem? The rest of your life. But the perpetrator determines how long the rest of your life is.
Right.
You may only have 5 seconds to solve that deadly threat problem.
I like that. That's
you
good.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So since I said, okay, the perpetrator is going to try to use the element of surprise, and I'm going to feel behind the curve, I got to have it in a place where I get it out the quickest.
Right.
I tested all of those areas. The place that I could get it out the quickest was appendix.
Okay.
Was it the most comfortable? No.
What is the most comfortable?
Somewhere over here.
Yep.
Somewhere over here, and maybe even outside.
Yep.
The waistband.
Oh yeah, outside's easy.
Outside over here is more comfortable.
Yeah.
But I've got to go back there to get it. But here, right there.
Money.
Right there. Right there. Right there. Right here.
Yep.
Right there. You see what I'm saying? So now, here's another thing. Once you decide where you're going to carry, I'm going to say, I am not a fan of off-body carry. I'm not a fan of, I know if you're a lady, you may have to carry in your purse, an attaché case for a guy. I'm not a fan of off-body carry. The gun needs to be where the most important thing is, and the most important thing is me.
Yeah.
So that's where the gun needs to be. Wherever my body ends up, a purse can be taken off your arm. You know, you can lose things, but the gun needs to be where I am. Once you determine where you're going to carry it, you need to know how long it takes to get it out, grip formed, acquire your sights, and an accurate shot fired. You need to practice getting it out from that place, and you need to run a timer on it. You need to know, because that's the amount of time that you have to live.
Yep. I agree with that.
If it takes you 7 seconds to get your gun out, and if the perpetrator is going to have you dead in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So when I thought that way, I said, ooh, I want to be able to get out the quickest that I can. And that was here.
Yeah.
All right. So that was here.
That's a really good point, because I have a bag, which I'm going to do a video on.
Okay.
And I'm not going to say what it is yet.
Okay.
But I have a bag.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah. When I pull it around, I timed myself.
Yeah.
How fast can I get the bag in front of me, unzip it,
right,
reach in,
definitely,
and shoot.
Definitely.
It was hovering around, 2.7.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome for that. That's awesome.
It has a really good, easy system. And then when I carry in a bag, I carry a bigger gun. Like, I just carry a straight full size, the biggest gun I can, because you don't have to worry about concealing it through your shirt.
Yeah.
But there have been times where I've tried to get it, and it's like,
little hang up.
Yep.
Little hitch.
Like, dang, man, that's time.
That's time.
And that might be it. Whereas you could just, draw, and it's right there. So
now the thing is, when you get that time, and you got to have that time first, you can plan scenarios around it. So now, like for me, I can have that out and an accurate shot fired in 1.5 seconds. If I fumble the draw, I can do it in 2 seconds. So what scenarios can I plan around that? If I'm faced with deadly force, if I can distract that person, if I can make that person look in another direction, by the time reactionary gap, by the time they look back, see me, and have to react to what I'm doing, 1.5 seconds, I can have them.
Okay.
But I only know that because I know I can draw in 1.5 seconds or 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So one of my thought processes is, like, if I'm being robbed, I'll pull out my wallet, pull out my keys. Man, you can have this. You can have it. I'm scared of you, man. I'm just going to give it to you, okay? Yeah. Toss wallet. Yeah. And then as I'm tossing keys, this hand comes back. Keys, pow. And if his eyes looks at that stuff coming in the air, by the time that leaves and he's back on me, I should be right here on him.
Yeah.
But I can only do that because I know my draw is 2 seconds or under.
Yeah.
So
it's fast. It's fast. I thought mine was fast until you came in. You came in here. I forgot what your time was, man. I don't want to I don't want to overhype it. But I really feel like, if I remember correctly, you had a draw at 7 yards, and you were like just over us. It was like 1.09.
I had practiced a lot.
Yeah.
I had practiced a lot. I practiced a lot. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Too much. Ask wifey.
And that's
Too much.
what everybody needs to do.
Yeah.
If you, no matter what side you decide to, put your gun on, you need to practice all day. Like, I know you even use the mantis thing. So do you want to tell us about the mantis that you use and other things that you might use to improve your draw?
Okay. So there are great tools to use. I'll just mention one, the Mantis X. That's a great tool. So when we became, when we aspired to become instructors, there was an instructor qual, right? And all of it was from the holster. And just say, for instance, the very first was drawing from the holster, an accurate shot 7 yards into the A zone in 1.5 seconds or less. All right. So when I first started practicing that, I was over the 1.5 seconds. Well, there's a lot to the draw. All right. There's the grip, there's the pull, there's the rotate, there's the join and extend, and then there's the press of the trigger. So I had no idea where I was spending most of the time. So the Mantis X was very instrumental. So one of the elements of the Mantis X, it grades your draw on 5 elements. So it gives you the time that it took you to grip your gun, the time that it took you to pull, the time that it takes you to rotate it, get it leveled, the time that it takes you to join and extend, and the time that it takes you to actually press the trigger. So I found out that when I pushed it out there, I took about a 1/2 second cleaning up the shot to get an accurate shot.
Okay.
Because it wasn't just push it out there and fire.
Right, yeah.
It has to be an accurate shot.
Yeah.
All right. So it took me like a 1/2 second. So I said, one of two things is going to have to happen. Either I'm going to have to, have that sight cleaned up where I don't use that much time there, or I've got to speed up the rest of it.
Right.
So I chose to speed up the rest of it.
Yeah.
And so it gave me each little section of time based on those steps, and I was able to speed up from grip to extend fast enough so that I could take that 0.4, 0.5 seconds to be sure I had an accurate shot.
Yeah.
And so the Mantis X helped me do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Right.
Yeah, man. Do you have anything else that you use? Or is that
yeah, I'll tell you what. Also, the Mantis Academy app and the red dot cartridge. So I've got a 9mm red dot cartridge that you put in the barrel.
Okay.
And when you press the trigger, it emits a red dot on a target. So the Mantis Academy app captures those red dots on the target.
Okay.
So I use the Mantis X to time my draw. Okay, and this is dry firing, when I'm dry firing at home. This was the best way to get the most out of my dry fire. And then I used the Academy app to actually capture where those shots were landing. So I knew how fast I was, and then I knew how accurate I was.
Yeah, okay.
And so I put both of those together.
Yeah, cooking.
And passed the instructor qual.
Yeah.
He passed it before me, though. he passed it before me, so.
But I think you got, because
I was chasing you.
I remember Jason was like, when I did one of the things where I had to draw, he was like, that draw was fast. That's the fastest in the armory.
Yeah.
And then you came in, and I think you beat it by a lot.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Hey.
A lot meaning like, I don't know,
I don't know.
second, maybe 0.9 seconds.
Yeah.
But that's
the thing that I loved about it is it was friendly competition. Nobody player hated on anybody. You know what I'm saying? You say, man, you were faster, like, oh man. But you know what? You were happy for me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I mean, you made it through the qual before me, and I'm like, oh man, am I gonna make it? You know what I'm saying? But I was happy for you that you had already made it, right?
Yep, I remember.
So it's kind of like iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
Sure. And so yeah, it's been a good family.
Yeah.
It's been 100%. A good family. Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
Well, I appreciate you being on here again, man.
Always.
Y'all gonna see
Always.
some more. Y'all gonna see some more. Dwayne.
Always, man.
Wealth of knowledge. And like, subscribe, everything. Get out there and train. You got any last words for the people or anything?
Come see us. We're both instructors.
Yep.
Come see us. There's awesome big changes happening, but come see us, Franklin location and the Nashville location.
All right. See y'all on the next one.
All right. Peace.